Jackie and Tony and Cantor, with your indulgence, I'd like to start the program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome everyone. The outline of the program for tonight is that we're going to start with Cantor Melissa with some songs for the High Holy Days. Well, we're going to start with an opening prayer by Carol Vanover. Then Cantor Melissa is going to give us a welcome and some songs for the High Holy Days. And there's a Zoom link. There's a link, not a Zoom link, but there's a link to the PDF so you can sing along. And then Bob and Tony are going to show us how to make gefilte fish and horseradish. And in the chat, I put the link in the chat there too, so you can download it. You can click on it and download it too. And then the evening's going to continue with Fred, who is, of course, our shofar blower extraordinaire at Beth-El, talking about his relationship to shofar blowing and giving us a little tutorial on how to blow the shofar. And then we can try it together. And then the program will end with an Elul blowing of the shofar, which the cantor will call for him and he will blow the shofar for us. So that's the whole program. If you thought that this was an NBA game, you're on the wrong channel. And at this point, I'd like to ask Carol to give us an opening prayer.
Good evening. This piece is by Rabbi Sheila Paltz Weinberg, and she draws a distinction between Rosh Hashanah and Rosh Chodesh. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, chadesh aleinu chodesh zeh v'shana zot. Dear God, God of our fathers and mothers, renew us this month and this year. Direct us toward goodness and blessing, toward the joyful, toward the liberation and the challenge, as well as toward patience and consolation, toward becoming even more human beings. Let us become capable of supporting ourselves, our families and friends. Let us serve our community in dignity. Direct us toward life and peace, toward observing our blindness, toward struggling with our goals, toward forgiving ourselves and each other. You chose us with an intention. You gave us the awareness of the cycles of the moon. May we use this gift as an opportunity to understand what you intend for us. Thank you for inviting us to share your holiness and this holy moment of the new year and new moon. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I'd like to turn it to Cantor Melissa Cohen.
Kol hakavod, Carol, thank you so much for that beautiful blessing, and welcome everybody to Sisterhood's first meeting. And I'm happy to be here, and thank you, Amanda and committee, to welcoming me to be here with you tonight as we ready ourselves for these what will be a very unique High Holy Days at home. And so I just wanted to wish us all well, and I'm including myself in that because we are no different in all of this from any along the way. Don't have a special link more than any of you do in all of this. This is difficult and challenging for all of us during these unique times to celebrate and observe. And it's to be in empty sanctuary space will be deafening without the faces and the sounds of all of you and everybody else. So I wanted to personally say, I'll miss you. And so I'm glad I'm seeing your faces here now up close on the screen. So I wanted to offer two very special melodies, which I feel are meaningful at this time of year for different reasons. And also so you can bring them close to your hearts and be able to sing them along with me throughout the holidays, because you hear them throughout the holidays. And they're both of them are actually relatively new songs. They're contemporary pieces. I had thought about singing an Avinu Malkeinu, which you can hear on the newest Elul moment that I see was posted just recently on Facebook from this evening. I shared an Avinu Malkeinu with you and another familiar melody, but you all know Avinu Malkeinu. And you all know some of the other melodies. So I figured that we would learn together these two pieces. And if you see the link, that would be awesome if you could click on it, and then you can follow along with me. But if you would prefer to just take it in and listen and learn that way, that's also fine. So the first piece was written by my mentor and my very good friend, Chazan Joanna Dulkin. And she is the Chazan up in St. Paul, Minneapolis area. And it's a beautiful melody. It comes from the Psalm of the Season, from Psalm 27. And this places our faith and our hope and trust in God. And it's so appropriate for the season, but it is especially appropriate for this season in what will be 5781. It is such a unique time that we are going to be celebrating that we really have nothing else to do but place our hope in Adonai. So we'll sing together Lule Hamanti, and the melody is just so haunting and so beautiful, and I hope that it will bring all of our voices together as one. So let's sing together. If you want to listen first and then join me, we'll sing it together. So from your own homes, and if hopefully everybody's on mute, because one thing we know about Zoom is that we can't all sing together. So try it with me, Lule He'emanti. Lule He'emanti, Nirot Ve'etula Adonai. Adonai, we will have faith and trust and the hope in God. El Adonai, El Adonai, try it with me. Back to the beginning. So I think it's now been 2 years since I introduced a new melody, which for a cantor in a shul that's now I think what are we in our 104th, going into our 105th year now, I think. So so for a cantor to do such a thing, I always say my melody during High Holy Day services after the fact. So I think it's been 2 years that I've now used the melody for Hayom Te'amtzenu. And to be fair, I do the old Hayom at other points, but I have started using this Hayom on Yom Kippur and the first day of Rosh Hashanah. And this is a twofer for today because I did use this earlier during our Elul moment, but I love it so much that I wanted to also teach it with you today because the Amen is so beautiful and it is so catchy. I've been singing it actually all afternoon ever since I did my recording earlier. And so I hope that you'll be able to join me. And really just by partaking in the Amen, I hope that you can get the feel of this song. And Hayom Te'amtzenu comes at the end of the Musaf at Rosh Hashanah, and we're finalizing this moment where we say, strengthen us and bless us, and we can have these blessings to go with us. And even though these times are uncertain, we'll know that we have the strength, Amen, and we can have it. So be it that we all bring us together like this. So this is, again, a beautiful melody, and it's, I'm looking at my screens, and it's, by the way, approved. It's Sid Mishkin approved. It is, it's also Alan Hamburger approved. So we're good. It's all good. So here is our Hayom, which I'm really quite liking, and I hope that it makes a long legacy in Beth-El musical history. So here's Hayom. Please join me from your end with the Amens. Here we go. We'll give that another go. Amen. 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 Hayom Te'amtzenu Amen. Hayom Te'amtzenu Amen. Hayom Te'amtzenu Amen. Hayom Te'amtzenu Le'tova Amen. Hayom Te'amtzenu L'chaim Tovim Amen. 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 Hayom Te'amtzenu Amen. Hayom Tishma Shalom Yadinu Amen. Hayom Tichmechenu b'mitzvotcha Amen. So in our coming year, 5781, I pray that we will be strengthened today, tomorrow, and throughout the year, and that we will be blessed with blessings of health, with blessings of goodness, and with blessings of love and friendship and fellowship and sisterhood. And thank you again for letting me be with you tonight, and I will turn it over to the Gefilte. Good stuff.
Okay. So I don't think Bob and Tony need much of an introduction. But they moved to Indianapolis in, I think, 1975.
Yep.
They raised their 4 children here.
Yep.
who were all bar mitzvahed, confirmed, USY, married, and they've spent more time in Indianapolis lately because they're not jetting off to New York City to see them all the time. And Tony has done this for Sisterhood before for a program, but not in some years. And it's always good to see how to make wonderful food. So we're very excited to have Tony and Bob show us how to make gefilte fish and horseradish. And if you check the chat, let me know if you can't see the recipes, should be there, or you can find them on the BEZ website, Worship High Holy Days, High Holy Day recipes. And with no more ado, welcome Tony.
Ta-da! For those of you who think that I'm far away, you're seeing, and that brings me a lot closer. This was the easiest way we could do it because we're going to be using the sink, we're going to be using the stove, we're going to be schlepping. Anyway, Amanda's right. We came here in 1975, and as I mentioned earlier, the only thing I ever asked my mother to teach me how to do was make her gefilte fish. And my mother's recipe was called the shidduchim recipe, not that kind of shit. Shidduchim means you take a little bit of this and you put a little bit of that. And so some of the measurements sound a little bit creepy and weird, but this is how she taught me. So here we go.
That works.
Pardon?
And it works.
And it works, you know. So the first thing you know, to make gefilte fish currently, I don't know how it was made in the past, but to make it currently, you have to make little fish balls and then boil them, simmer them in a fish stock. So earlier I got, where's my fish? So we went Kona Jack's, doesn't charge anything. This is the fish throwaway. It's the skins. They rarely give me bones, but skins. And then the pieces that came off the fish, I've got some of this as well. And I saved enough of it to go into our fish. So we put it into this huge pot. It doesn't really make any, wait a minute.
What?
I didn't save it here. Hold, please. This stuff all goes in here. We might have a few bones, but it's going to be good. I think this is whitefish, but it could fool me. I don't know. So all you do, if you can get the bones, if you buy a whole fish and you clean it yourself, that's terrific. If not, you can get it Kona Jack's if you call up and talk to the fish people early. So that's started. Now the other part of it is that you have to season it. So what you do, I'm trying to think what I'm talking about while I'm talking, is you have to put onions and carrots and a lot of salt and pepper into the stock. That makes it taste amazing. Gefilte fish is a rather bland item for your table. The thing that really makes it work is the horseradish, of course. So we're going to take this, and I'm going to use another onion for the gefilte, for the fish itself. So what I'm doing is I just cut off the top and the bottom of the onion, and then I put a little slice on the side, and that helps me get the skin off and that top layer of onion. So we gather all this stuff up, waste not, want not, you know. Now you take the first onion, and we just cut it in half, cut it in quarters, cut it up. This is going into the soup, so we don't really care what it looks like. We don't care about the other one either because we're going to shred it. But this goes in to into the soup. Just kind of spread it around. And this one we're saving. We're going to shred that later. Now we take a couple of carrots, throw the tops and the bottoms in. I feel like Emerald, I should say, wham, or whatever he said all the time. And we're bam?
Bam.
Bam, okay. And again, all this goes into the stock. I've got 2 carrots that I'm going to put into the stock and 2 that I'm going to put into the fish itself. When you do this, it makes it kind of colorful and it gives it a little bit of flavor. So again, all of this goes in, spread it around. These just get chopped up. Gesundheit. Bob was sneezing, being very polite. So again, all of these go in here. Flop. And I've had the water simmering for a while, but I turned up the heat so that we could get this done. This is so exciting. I know it is. You're all thrilled. This is something you've never seen before. Once in the future. I am nervous now. We did this morning to get everything ready, and I was talking like, and I'm nervous. I'm shaking. It's ridiculous. I know everybody who's watching. Hello, everybody. So you'd think I'd know what to do. I wouldn't be nervous. It's a little stage fright, but I'm good. So these are the carrots that I'm going to use put into the processor to put in the fish. So stir that around. Take some salt and pepper. Give it a good shake. Yeah, da, 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 da. Again, the only way you get any taste in the fish is from what you put into the soup. Now comes the part. If you don't have somebody who can get you fish like this, or you buy a fillet, I'm going to teach you how to skin a fish. There we go. It's really easy. You need a sharp knife, and I just sharpened this knife, so I don't know why it's not working. I just figured it out. Those are.
Where's the fish? Where's the fish knife?
Pardon?
Where's the fish?
The fish knife. That's what I should use. Hold, please. So this is an official fish knife.
Filleting.
It's got filleting knife. It's got a very thin blade, because what you want to do is go into the fish and then gently just pull the that thing over there is, excuse me. Hold on a minute. What I've got is along the top of the fish where the I don't know what that is, top with fin top is causing me all sorts of trouble. So we go back here and you very gently pull the knife along. Well, it's supposed to work. Huh. Anyway, I hope you can see this as I'm ripping apart this poor little fish. I'm trying to fillet around.
Like slicing lox.
And it's like slicing lox, Bob says. This one came off there, see? And now you have that. And this, where does this go, ladies and gentlemen? Into the soup. So I got one more.
It's top one.
No. Bob's right. I should have this. This doesn't have it. It's
Just use a big knife.
You gently pull it and slide it. And if you're lucky, you get it off. If I were a professional, I'd know how to do it. When we're in New York, we go to the grocery store across the street from the apartment, is Fairway, and they have people there who do this all day. And the knife starts off looking like this and comes up looking like this one within a couple of months. So, and this goes into the soup, and this gets saved for dinner tomorrow. So we basically have done everything that needs to be done to prepare for this, for the gefilte fish. We're going to pull up the
Food processor.
The food processor. And you don't want to process this a whole lot. You just want to get it so it's smooth. You don't want to get it pasty because that defeats the whole purpose of. Is this one? Yeah, yeah. I'm sure. And if you get it all pasty, it doesn't make good gefilte
You're
fish.
just going to do carrots.
So we're going to do the carrots first. Sometimes I have to do them twice because the shredding process.
From the blade.
Oh, the blade. The blade, it's the shredding blade. I guess you can use it either way. I've never used it. I use it with the shredder on top. There is a smaller shredding thing that comes that is a different blade, but I've never used it, so I don't know how to use it. So I'm just going to cut these up and put them. You get to, okay. Very exciting moment. I'm going to take the onions.
Silence.
Pardon me? Yes,
Tony, it's silent.
What's
Your
silent?
Your Cuisinart is quiet.
you're kidding. I'm standing here, I think it's loud, so I'm glad it's quiet. All right. So that takes care of, okay, I have another bowl here.
By the
I
microwave.
use this bowl. What was in here? I don't know what was in here. I'll use this one. So you'll always wind up with some big pieces of carrots and stuff that get to the top. You want to get rid of those. Clean out your processor. You're going to use it in another minute to do the fish. Be very careful. This is sharp. Don't allow children to be near this. And because I cut the carrots smaller, it's kind of shredded. This goes in. This makes the fish look a little pretty. Gives it a little bit of taste. It just, it's the way I was taught. So we do this. So now we've got the onions and the carrots. Oh, I didn't take it. Okay. Now we put the I don't know what this is called.
It's just a cutter.
It's a cutting blade. It takes everything and makes it tiny. Okay, we're going to do the fish now, and you can do this in any order. It doesn't matter. You're going to eat the fish. It's like when you served your babies food. Anything that was in the separate containers on the plate all got mushed together anyway, so it doesn't matter. So we're going to put in, I believe what they gave me was whitefish, but you could fool me. I usually use 3 different kinds of fish, and it depends on what's available. Out in Seattle, they use salmon because they have a lot of salmon. So you want a firm fish, you want a meaty fish, and then whatever else you feel like. So excuse me. And that's it. It only takes a minute, a second or two. And what you've got is little pieces of fish. You can make a hamburger out of it, which is basically what we're doing. Can you get me one of the bowls, please?
Tony, can you show us up close what the consistency of the fish is?
Here you go.
Wow.
Look,
Thank
that's the only way I can do it real close. All right, and then we're going to do the rest of the fish. That was whitefish, I believe, as I've mentioned. This is tilapia. Tilapia is kind of cool. It is. It's real thick. It's a heavy fish, and it comes like this. This is one side is always a little bit smaller than the other. If you do it like this, this is the fish. I believe this is the head. But I always split the pieces just because it spreads out better in the processor. What did I do wrong? Okay.
Stop.
I didn't put the knife back in.
Need the blade.
I know. I do this from time to time. It told me it wanted to be cut up, but it didn't get it. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Again, it's in little tiny pieces, and it tastes really good. I'm done with it. While I'm finishing up this process, Bob is going to wash all the dishes because he's got to use this too. So here you go. That's basically what you've got. You've got carrots and onions. You've got fish of several kinds, and now we're going to mush this all together. I'm sorry for the noise. The white fish is a little bit pinker than the tilapia. So my mother always said 1 egg per pound of fish. So that's what we're going to do. Right. Then my mother always said, this is the shitter rind part, half an eggshell of water for each pound of fish. So, excuse me, I need to get my, that's all. That's one, count with me, and two. And now we can get rid of these. Okay, I'm gonna put in a lot of salt and pepper here. Because again, the fish is bland. It's meant to, I believe it's meant to be a carrier for the horseradish. And here's my mother's secret recipe. A thistle of sugar, a little bit. That was probably a little much, but anyway. All right, and we mush it all together. A lot of people don't like this. It's like the first time you handled a raw chicken, everybody goes, eh. But it's good. It's not quite, it's softer than hamburger meat. So you're not, you know, that's, back in the day, they used, gefilte means stuffed. They would have a fish, if you've ever read The Carp in the Bathtub, you know that they would buy a fish during the week and keep it in the bathtub because nobody bathed except once a week.
And they didn't have refrigerators.
And they didn't have refrigerators. So they would put the fish in the bathtub, and then on Friday before Shabbos, Mama would take the fish, cut its head off, scrape it, get the skins and get the skin off, the bones off, do this, and then put this back into the fish skin. I'm not sure if, I should have looked this up, but I'm not sure if they baked it or if they boiled it. But I've always learned how to boil it, so that's how I do it. And then you add matzo meal to make it a little bit stiffer. Again, I have no idea how much of this stuff I'm putting in. All right. Bob, is the soup, the soup has to be simmering. Can you turn it up a little bit? All right. So the very last, so we've done everything we're going to do to this fish. The very last thing that we're going to do is put a little bit of water in a bowl. Maybe a little bowl. So I can use it. So I can use every bowl in the house. So now we're going to make little fish balls. You take enough fish, put it in the palm of your hand, and then just do this a little bit. Sometimes a little more. So what you wind up with is something that looks like this, and it's this size, like an egg of some kind. And you plop it into the soup. And you just keep doing this. This should make about a dozen, maybe a little bit more, depending. They tend to swell up a little bit because of the egg and the matzo meal, I think. Although I'm not at all sure that's why they do it. During the holidays, the holiday season and a normal holiday season, I have, if you can see the pot that I've got on the stove, I'm doing 6 pounds of fish instead of 2 pounds of fish. So I have 2 of these pots. And I have them going at the same time. And it makes for a lot of fun. Now, some people like to keep the fish stock. I have no use for it. I don't care for fish stock. I don't like the aspic that forms if you have bones, because I've just never liked that kind of jello. It just strikes me as being gruesome. So I never have it. And after you're done, I have learned the hard way that you do not take everything and put it down the disposal, because you will clog your disposal, and it's a holiday and nobody can come out except if you pay them extra. Intake, a new exit, a new access put in our plumbing line, because I did this more than once.
Fish bones.
The fish bones. So what I do is I let it cool off. I drain off the soup. I throw it away. I don't care. Some people like it. I don't care much for it. And when it's done, I empty the innards. Whatever I've got in the pot goes into a garbage bag, into a doubled up plastic bag, tied and twisted and put in the trash. And that's it. So it is, on my part of this is all over. I'll be coming back to you in a few minutes. Luckily, that wasn't the fish from this morning. I'll come back to you. Do you need a bowl? You don't need a bowl? Are you sure? You need a bowl. Okay, he says he doesn't need a bowl. So my part is done for now. See you guys later. You're on. Where's this? Oh, shoot!
What?
Nobody told me I forgot the carrots and the onions.
In the soup.
In the soup, not in the soup,
In the fish.
in the fish. The carrots and this, do not do this. Have everything in front of you when you're cooking, because otherwise you will forget an important part of this. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these shredded carrots and onions, but I'm going to go ahead, put my
We'll
head
make
down
some.
in shame for now.
Well, we will have a taste test later and see what the difference in the fish
Right.
is.
That won't be nearly as pretty. Okay, you're on, Bobby.
No.
I can't believe I did that. I'm going to go cry.
All right. Well, making horseradish is very easy. If what you're used to is the store-bought horseradish, I don't particularly like it. I've been doing this for a lot of years. I started grating the root by hand. And then I learned from Big Mickey Maurer that you can use a food processor. It goes a lot faster. It's a lot better. I think Tony said earlier that the horseradish is what gives the fish its flavor. And with what I'm going to show you, it only takes about 10 or 15 minutes to make horseradish at home. You can make it anytime you want. Our daughter Jamie, the professional chef in Cincinnati, makes it in the kitchen, and they make large batches of it and use it in cooking all the time. When you get, this is a horseradish root. They carry them at the grocery stores. I usually get it at Kroger. I've got this at Meijer.
Looks like a shofar.
This does look like a shofar. And the fresher the root, the better it is for the horseradish. I will tell you that the root really has. What we're going to do is we're going to clean off the root. We're going to mix it up in the food processor, and we're going to use vinegar. The vinegar has two purposes in making horseradish. One is to help give the horseradish consistency when you're grinding it up in the food processor, so that you don't just wind up with a very powdery like root, but you actually have something that's more like a paste. But the other function is that it brings the heat out of the horseradish itself. So what I'm going to do is just start right here. I'm going to take the root. I like getting it wet, and I'm just going to cut it. There's always a large crown on the root. If you want to try growing your own horseradish root, cut the crown off. You can plant that a few years and it will start growing. I will caution you that you need a sandy soil to grow horseradish. Our soil in our yard has a lot of clay in it, and we grow horseradish roots that are about this long and about pencil thick. So you need a sandy soil. We don't bother with that. It's just easier to just cut the top off. We'll throw it away. I'm just going to trim off some of the corners of this foot. Same thing with the other piece. And I will cut the end off. And this particularly you don't want to throw down a garbage disposal. Throw away there, Tony. The peeler is here. And this is probably the biggest step in making the horseradish root, and that's just peeling it. You can alternatively, if you want to be more natural, if you have a stiff bristled vegetable brush, rather than peeling it, you can clean it. All this is on the outside is skin and dirt. You can get I've done it. You can get it off with a good stiff brush, and use that. So I've got a piece of the root here. All I'm going to do is cut it up into pieces. I'm going to put them in the blender, not the blender, the processor. And don't worry if you don't get all the brown spots off.
Tell the story about Harry Nemes.
If any of you remember Harry Nemes, one of the older men in the old Minion, years and years ago, I was at Minion, and Tony had actually talked to Harry and found out that Harry grew his own horseradish. So I asked him if we could have some, and he said sure. And so we arranged the date. I went to Minion, went over to Harry's house after I was on my way to work. I had on a three-piece suit. It started raining. We get to Harry's house. I expected to have him give me a bag of horseradish. He gave me a shovel. So I had my own horseradish, bag it in the rain. But it was great. It was so fresh. It was the hottest horseradish we've ever had. Yeah. All right. This piece has a bad spot in the middle. We're just gonna cut around that. You don't have to hold it. You don't have to throw the whole thing out. All I've done is just cut up little pieces.
You can all come by and taste it.
All right, almost ready here. As I said, this is the longest part of doing it. So once we have all the pieces, put it in the food processor. What did I do? Here it is. Just like Tony.
You have to take it out now.
Yeah.
No bowl.
Yep. All right. Put that in. Pieces go in. And then the key ingredient here is vinegar. This is just a normal cider vinegar, a normal vinegar. If you want to make this for Pesach, you can't use just regular vinegar because vinegar has a wheat base. So for Pesach, you either need to buy a Pesach vinegar, which they do sell, and sometimes if you get there early enough, you can get it at Kroger's. Or you can buy apple cider vinegar. And apple cider vinegar has got a little kind of a brownish color, but it doesn't make any difference. It won't affect how the horseradish looks or how it tastes. So what I'm going to do is just pour some in here, and
At the top.
there's a, got this for a minute. And you can watch this as you're pulsing it, as you're grinding it up in the food processor. And when it starts, when it's too dry, it's the horseradish root is just going to build up around the outsides of the container. But as you add more vinegar to it, it'll settle down to the bottom. And you just want to watch it until it's about the right consistency. And you can hear it, you can see what it tastes like. I'm going to take the top off, and rule number one is never put your face over an open container, because at this point, if you do, you're going to be running outside and crying, and it's not worth it.
Much pain.
So this looks like it's just about ready. I'm going to grind it a little bit more. And then we also use a secret ingredient here. This is the same sugar Tony used. Just put in a little bit of sugar. It helps sweeten it just a little bit, and that's really all you want. So, looks good. I'm going to take this out. And, now this is, I put a lot of vinegar in here, and this is going to be, if I can bring it over and I'll just try and show it to you. This is what it looks like in the processor. And there's a lot of liquid in here. What you're going to do is just take it out with a spoon. If you had I don't know if this is, yeah, but it's empty. I'm just going to use a regular spoon, and you can just keep you can take the horseradish out of the container, whatever it's called, and flip. And then what we're going to do is when we get the bottle full, we're going to put the cover on and turn it upside down and let it sit in the sink for about an hour. And that will help drain out any of the extra liquid that's in there. Tamp it down, turn it over. This is a jar that I made this morning, and take the top off and just bring it over.
Everybody get a smell.
So everybody can smell. That's what I heard somebody cough. So that's it. It's really easy to make. It doesn't take long. It takes longer to clean up than it does to make it. So that's it. And back to you, Tony. You want to?
Okay. So when I cleaned up here, despite the fact that I left out some of the ingredients in the gefilte fish, it's going to taste okay. As I said, the carrot makes it pretty and the onion makes it kind of dark, very nice. If you'd like to come over to the house like next week or tomorrow, you can do a taste test. Okay. But what I do is I after it's simmered for about 45 minutes to an hour, every once in a while, you should just kind of bounce them up and down to make sure that the tops get done. And then you take them out. I prepare the pan that I'm going to put it in. What did I do with it? Oh, I left it in the other room. Hold, please.
Okay. Well, Tony is going to get that. I'm just going to show you how I clean up the food processor. It's a very important part of this entire event.
So because the gefilte fish reacts to tin foil, I make it and I keep it in the refrigerator. So I take my 9x13 pan and I put tin foil around the outside. And because tin foil is okay to use, if you use 2 layers, I think Avi Grossbaum said if you use 2 layers of tin foil, it's okay if you use a meat pan for a dairy thing and back the other way. I don't know. But
we have meat and dairy.
We have meat. I have so many pots and pans you wouldn't believe. And then you take, this is a press and seal, which I love when I'm having had surgery because you put it over your wound and it sticks. But you line the pan with saran wrap, whatever it is that you like, because the gefilte fish reacts to the tin foil and turns it funky colors. So you don't want that. So you do that, and then when you laid your fish in here, you take them out one at a time. You take some of the carrot and you slice the carrot into, well, okay. I have to go find some carrot.
Tony, just show them the.
Oh, yes, I could do that too. I could do what he said. All right, so this we made this morning, and it is how you serve it. And it comes out kind of, well, you don't serve it like this. You put it on a pretty plate with some I like to use romaine, and it fills the plate, and you put this on. But every plate, every piece gets its own little piece of cooked carrot. And when you want to put it away, you just put tin foil, you put the pressing seal on the top, and then you put another piece of tin foil on top of that. I know it feels like a waste, but it really keeps it from smelling up your refrigerator a lot. So this just goes downstairs into the refrigerator, and you're all done. I have another dozen or so poorly made gefilte fish sitting over there crying for their onions and carrots, but that's the way it goes sometimes. I hope you enjoyed that. You can call me if you have any questions. And you don't have to make 6 pounds of fish. I did it with 2, and it makes 4 dozen, so 2 dozen. So there you go. Back to you, Amanda.
Thank you, Tony, and Bob, that was wonderful. I didn't mention, but I think many people know that Bob and Tony are loyal daily millionaires, especially Tony.
No, he's not. I'm sorry. Not
I
yet.
used to.
Okay, Bob is Tony is a loyal daily millionaire, and she loves to harmonize. So when she's there, you get to hear all the tunes in harmony. And I can't wait till we're back together again.
Oh, me too. I miss it.
Okay, and now for our next one, if you have a shofar.
Anybody have questions?
Oh yeah, questions.
Any comments?
Yeah,
Can I make a comment?
sure. Who is talking?
Lee,
Lee,
Oh, hi, Lee.
hi.
You want some? I'll bring tomorrow.
The easiest gefilte fish I ever made was when we lived in London in the pre-processor days. I would go to the fishmonger, order the fish, he would grind it for me and throw in some chopped onion on the side. And all I had to do was make the balls.
Yep. We had
You've done
a fish place many years ago that was up on Michigan Road, and the gal would do that for me. She would grind it up. I had to do the carrots and onions, but she would grind the fish for me. Cost me an extra $1, I think.
Okay, on to the next part.
Anybody else? Okay.
Did you ever put wine or beet juice in your gefilte fish?
No, I don't put the horseradish.
Well, this is coloring. It doesn't add.
Bob, you got to be over here for them to see you.
Okay. Beets just adds color.
A little sweet.
I've heard one of the bubble mice is that it covers up the blood from your fingers when you grate it by hand. But it all it does is add a little color to it. It doesn't change the taste at all.
Joe Ross put wine in his
No,
for St. Elmo's in the old days.
I don't know about that, but we.
I do. He taught me how to make it. He gave me his recipe for horseradish.
Who?
From St. Elmo's.
Oh,
St. Elmo's, Joe
Very
Ross.
much like this. The problem with fresh horseradish is it's not stabilized like commercial horseradish is. So it's hot for the first 2 weeks, and then it
yeah,
gets
it starts
milder.
losing.
Yeah, by the time we can Rosh Hashanah and Pesach and Rosh Hashanah, you can get maybe a month of, oh my God, it clears my sinuses, and then it's just a very nice thing to top whatever it is that you're cooking. Bob has stories about when it was the first year we were here. Mickey and Eileen Maurer invited us for the second day of Rosh Hashanah, and Mickey was very proud of him as he made the horseradish. And Bob talked to him and got the horseradish recipe. What Mickey didn't tell him was not to put his face over the thing. So
I've worn swim goggles and done lots of things, and it's just easier not to stick your face over it.
Okay, we're done.
wonderful. Thank you so
Good
much.
everybody.
Okay. That was great, Tony. And now Fred. Oh dear, where's Fred? Oh, there he is. Okay, so unmute yourself, Fred. Fred Schwab, we've been at Beth-El for 26 years, and the first year we came, he was Baal Tekiah, and for the high holidays, and we were incredibly impressed. And I've come to Minyan in the mornings in Elul, and I heard him always there with the shofar, and I've seen him with lots of small children around him that he's taught the shofar. And so I just wanted to hear a little bit. Fred, tell us about your love of a shofar.
All right, well, you also wanted me to give you a little tutorial on how to blow. So you didn't know it, but you were asking me to talk about the birds and the bees. And that's part of this, but we'll get to that later. I guess my first journey toward the shofar was due to my orthodontist, because I had this really bad case of buck teeth, and he suggested, in addition to headgear and braces and all that stuff, that I pick up a musical instrument, not a reed instrument because that would make it worse, but a brass instrument because that would help push the teeth in. So that led me to the trumpet, and I was age 9, and so I played the trumpet for 4 years, including 2 years with braces on, which kills the inside of your teeth, even with beeswax on the braces. And then, like a fool, I gave it up just when I was getting good. And then when I had my bar mitzvah, I had been interested in the shofar, so I took some of my bar mitzvah money and went to the Beth-El gift shop. Sharon, I'm sure you'll love that. And bought myself a shofar, and Walter Goldman was music director then. And so he taught me how to blow. And at the time, we had a man blowing at Beth-El who probably at one point was very good, but by that point, it was agonizing to have him get a sound out, unfortunately. But, you know, being a kid, they weren't going to let me do it. So, you know, he kind of shelved all that till I got out of school, and then Mickey was blowing the shofar at Beth-El by that point, but Hooverwood needed somebody. So for 14 or 15 years, I was blowing over at Hooverwood, and then I'd run over to Beth-El and go around to the various classrooms and demonstrate for the kids. And then after Mickey retired, I started blowing shofar, you know, for the regular services in 1992. So this will be year 29 this year. And Mickey did it for 25, so we go back, you know, 2 of us a long, long way. So if you don't have a shofar and want a shofar, I recommend the gift shop, and or you can make your own. Here's the shofar that I made this past year, and it's unpolished. And here's the shofar I got for my bar mitzvah at the gift shop, or most of it. I love the shofar, but then so did my dog, and he chewed off the end. We had a off end. And but when you buy a shofar, you need a good mouthpiece on it. And what you don't want is, like on this one now, it just has a very small hole. That's not going to work because you're not going to get air through there. This one that I made has a little bigger hole, but it's still not great. I hope everybody can see that. Then here's my daughter Rebecca's shofar that still has the gift shop sticker on there. And this is a nice shofar. And if you can see the end, it's flared out a little bit, and there's that work? There's a bigger hole, and so that allows your lips to get over the opening and air to get through to produce the sound. And then if you buy or get a Yemenite shofar, this is from Kudu, naturally, even though it's not flared, it has a bigger mouthpiece, so to speak. And these are actually easier to blow than the smaller ones just because of the bigger mouthpiece. So if you're going to buy a shofar, you know, look for one with a good mouthpiece and try it out. Make sure it's easy to get a sound out of it because some are and some are not. So going back to the birds and the bees now. So if you want to learn how to blow, get out your trumpet mouthpiece and or a shofar. Trumpet mouthpiece is actually a better way to start because it's a bigger mouthpiece and makes it easier to blow. And to produce a sound, you want to buzz your lips like a bee. We're going to start with the bees and then go to the birds. And so you want to go, or side view. So if you're at home, try making that sound, because that's what you're going to want to do on the shofar. If you just blow air like, that's not going to do it. It's the vibration that produces the sound. And you are going to put your lips not over the end of the shofar, but against the end. So you're going to purse your lips, but leave a little space here for air. So it's going to look like this from a side view. I hope everybody can see. And if you're on a shofar, it's the same thing, just against the end, not over the end. If I just blow into the shofar, I'm only going to hear air, but no real sound. So I'm going to vibrate my lips, so I'm going to make the B sound, and I'm going to do it first against the end of the trumpet mouthpiece, because it's a better demonstration. So it's going to sound like a bird, specifically Donald Duck. Yeah, so so if you work on that, and you'll hear the sound well, and then you can progress to the shofar. Assuming you don't have a trumpet mouthpiece laying around, just take the shofar, and the small or the big one, and just do the same thing. Put your lips against the outside and buzz into it. Amanda requested that you mute yourself for right now while you're practicing. So please do that. I see we have a dog that wants to participate. The two dogs I used to have before loved to howl along with the shofar. And I think they liked it because they never ran out of the room. They just sat there and howled. And it was great. Thought about sending a video into America's Funniest Videos, never got around to it. But on the big one, it's the same thing. And if you relax your lips, you get a lower sound. If you relax them even more, you can get a foghorn. So the more you tighten your lips and the harder you press, the louder a sound you will get. But you just want to get something that's comfortable. And you know, the first thing you want to try is just to get a sound, and then work toward a tequila, which is, as I assume you know, one kind of medium length blast. Or, and you can kind of slide into it for a little effect. And then that's the easiest one to do. Although sometimes to trick yourself into getting that one, try the Kia Gadola. At least when I've taught the kids, it works better because they blow harder and get more of a sound than they did before, or any sound as opposed to no sound. So those are the basics for running through sounding a shofar. And
Okay, Fred, how about we all try it together one time? Anyone who's
you're fading out there, Amanda.
okay, how about we try it all together? Jackie, can you unmute people?
Here, do it.
Oh my God.
Okay. Okay, so is Evan going to join us too?
Oh, Evan has a mean tequila.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, great. So let's do it all together. Enter.
you can put a little flair at the end there.
That was really good. Wait.
Is that enough, or do you want more, Amanda?
Does anyone want to keep blowing, or should we go back on mute and get a final? Okay, so I do want to acknowledge a big thank you to Rabbi Greenspan for joining us this evening. We really, we'll get you on the next program, I promise. But we really appreciate everything you've been doing all summer, and we're looking forward to your second High Holy Days here.
Yay.
Thank you so much, Cantor Melissa, and thank you, Carol, for the opening prayer, and Bob and Tony, that was fantastic. Cheryl Toof said in the comments to please save her some gefilte fish without onions because she's allergic to onions. And
That was made special for her.
No, the fish itself has onions in it. But,
oh, that's right.
the
The
soup
base
has-
does.
No, the soup has onions.
Yeah.
Does
Okay.
that count? I don't know.
And then if Cantor Melissa, if you could call for Fred, and so we can all prep ourselves for the High Holy Days to hear the call.
So
Before
I am
you do-
actually going to defer to my friend and colleague, Rabbi Jenny, and she is going to make the calls. We were texting a few minutes ago to arrange this behind the scenes. So I'm turning it over to Rabbi Jenny, and she'll just offer words of goodbye and closure to everybody, and then she will make the calls for Fred. And on behalf of everybody, and on behalf of Rabbi Dennis, also just wishing everybody Happy New Year, Shana Tova, and I will see you all next week, and we will be here. Did you like my air quotes? I will see you for Slichot, and hope to see you everybody very soon. It will be different, but I promise you it will be very, very beautiful. So Rabbi Jenny, you are up.
Cool.
So I first extend a huge Yishar Kochech, a huge Yasher Koch, congratulations, good job to Amanda on pulling all of this together, and thanks so much to the Baders for a cooking lesson that my own grandmother was never quite able to give me. She wasn't Jewish, so I never quite got the booby cooking lesson. So thank you so much for some of that. That was wonderful to see. And I think right now, so we are in Elul, a month of reaching toward the high holidays, of reflecting, of figuring out how we want next year to be better and to improve ourselves. And the shofar helps every year to help wake us up to that. And this year we have so much that is unique. It seems only appropriate that our shofar wake up is also over Zoom, as so much has shifted to Zoom, and we have woken up as a community to all of the different ways that we can be in touch with one another. And I know that my second high holidays at Beth-El were not what anyone would have imagined, but I could not have asked for a better community to be exploring all of the different new ways to figure things out. And I hope that we can have a continued year of waking up to new ideas and being creative together. So I'm going to give Fred a few of the calls, and we will wrap it up for the evening. I think I'll pass it back if we do a final wrap up, but for now, let's listen, and we'll wake up as we call out each of the four main shofar blasts. And I learned to call. I never learned to blow the shofar. I've had multiple people try to teach me, and so far they have been successful at me helping guide someone who is much better at blowing shofar than I am. So I am grateful to Fred for him being here tonight and on the Bima with us, even if it's a virtual Bima this year.
Rabbi Jenny, before you do, just one note that some people may be aware of, some may not. The first three calls are supposed to be about the same length each. So even though the Shavarim and Trua are broken, it should be about the same length as the Tekiah. And officially, the Tekiah Gedolah should just be 3 times Tekiah. We extend it because we're having fun, but way back when the rabbi asked me to just keep the formal ones to 3 times the length for the Tekiah Gedolah. So if you think I ran out of air, I didn't necessarily.
Well, it's Elul. It's not, we're actually not actually on Rosh Hashanah yet. So the rules are off. So if you go, you know, a half second too long, I won't tell Rabbi Dennis. We'll keep it between us here on the recorded event. But,
well, in Minyan, we follow Minyan rules too.
Okay. We ready?
Ready.
Okay. Tekiah. Shivarim. Teruah. Tekiah. Beautiful. Thank you. May we have a year of health and of sweetness and of waking up to reaching out to community. Shana Tova. And then closing thoughts from Amanda. I'll pass it back.
I'm unmuted. My closing thoughts are that we have a lot going on there. These new Elul videos that you can find on the BEZ YouTube channel. I guess probably 3 of them or 2 of them have been published already. 3 of them.
As of today.
I
One
want you
is
to make
fresh off the
sure-
presses.
One's hot off the presses. Sisterhood has walks going on, and we're going to have another program with a cooking demo for Hanukkah, and we may have some more things between now and then. And look for your very exciting Sisterhood annual New Year dues statement. But anyway, thanks again to everyone for participating, and a big Shana Tova. I don't think it's grammatically correct to say Shana Tova Yoter. May we wish for a better year next
All
year.
right.
But Shana Tova.
Lashana Tova.
Shana Tova. We'll see you on all of our live streamed and Zoom services, beginning with a kickoff of Slichot on the 12th, next Saturday night. And of course, Shabbat before then.
Oh, and thank you to our president, Dan Fox, for joining us. Take care.
Thanks, Amanda and everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, Amanda, check your email. I sent you a special message
Oh, thanks. Okay.
of high urgency. And Fred, I also have a message coming to you tomorrow, so check yours tomorrow as well. Special messages for both of you. And Amanda, you'll have another message in addition to the message from tonight. Lots of messages. Okay, but Fred, yours is also very time sensitive. Okay.
All right.
But I'm sure that you know what that's about.
Yes.
Okay. Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks.